Well, I'm expecting a phone call or two today, so hopefully during this few minutes that won't happen. But I thought I'd get these tree trunks done, because that pretty much signifies getting to the end of the painting. I've just mixed up a little bit of ultramarine blue. And a little bit of burnt sienna. And a bit of white. Can't forget that white, eh? I'm using my flexible little knife here. Not every speck has to be covered, but we want reasonable coverage. Kind of nice to leave some of the underpainting showing here, because that's what really defines the texture and the shapes on the trunk itself. Quite important actually to leave some unpainted. I guess a little maul stick would be handy right now. But that's okay. We're surviving. Okay. Maybe I'll just back things up here a moment. Give you a bit of an overview. Go all the way back to here. Okay. I'm a mess, of course. Even when I comb my hair, it takes about 3 minutes to get messy again. I have naturally curly hair, but not enough of it to be a bush anymore. Now it's just kind of scraggly. And I run my hands through it constantly when I'm painting. So anyway, let's just raise the camera so that we'll raise the painting a little bit as well. I can't I'll have to duck in order to talk to you. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so yeah, the trunks are mixtures of ultramarine blue, raw umber, burnt sienna, and white, going a little bit lighter as we get off into the distance. Obviously, that's just allowing a bit of the tint to show through. That's more raw umber, a little more white, faded out. This we get into the darker, into the darker trunks. They're very little bit. This one's a little more raw umber. This one's a little more ultramarine blue, more raw umber again. I may still touch a little bit on the bottoms here. The odd trunk seems to be floating a bit, so this one specifically actually. I might play with that. But I don't mind in general just letting the bottoms of the trunks disappear into the low values on the bottom of the painting. Our main attention is here. This is supportive. And of course complementary with the colors. So when I painted in the foliage, I was using, first I tried a little bit of ultramarine blue, bit of yellow ochre, bit of burnt sienna, I think. And I was just going a little too green. So I did away with the ultramarine blue, and mostly, okay, there were touches of ultramarine blue in there, but very small amounts. Mostly yellow ochre and raw umber to paint in the underside that's in the shade. And then we went to, no, we stayed with yellow ochre and raw umber to paint the light sides. Again, adding just a hint of ultramarine blue. I stayed away from too much ultramarine blue because I didn't want this to be too green. You know, these would all be very green, and everything else would be orange to red or yellow to red. I wanted this sort of to have some unity color-wise, right? So then once I painted the highlights on, I went back in with my raw umber, my yellow ochre, and I added a little bit of alizarin crimson with varying degrees of white. So if all of this were gone and all you saw was this right now, you would see that this is slightly reddish. Combination of reddish and green. But because it's against such strong red, it still looks fairly green. Anyway, hints of red. If I had just used straight yellow ochre, it would pop a little more up here, but it would be that much greener, you know. So I wanted to lean towards the reds, as I said, and I didn't want things popping too much up here anyway, because this really serves to frame this, as does this. Yeah, I think we're good now. I'll have to, well, I don't have any more canvases, and the art store is closed today. So, I guess that's for tomorrow. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you the finished painting. I'll do a little zoom in here. Okay, more clicking with the camera. Let's go up those trunks, those three. See the varieties and the themes of colors in each trunk? They're a little bit different, subtle differences, but they're nonetheless. And I've allowed that distant light to reflect very thinly off of some spots on these trunks as well. It helps to give those tree trunks the feel of some dimension rather than looking too flat. If it was a very small canvas, I wouldn't bother with it, but it's a 16 by 20, so yeah. Okay, on vertical, I guess I should call it a 20 by 16 inch. Messy, messy, messy. And more organized. It's still possible, as I had mentioned, that I may put the odd flicker, the odd glint of light in the foreground, but I'm not convinced of it yet. So I'm going to, as usual, bring it upstairs and live with it for a while. It may only need a signature, or I may decide to go ahead and do just the odd final touch. But you know, honestly, there is a danger in overworking a painting. Sometimes it's good just to walk away and say, I said what I had to say on this canvas, and now I'm better off just being quiet. Excuse me. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.